Are you tired of the donors in your portfolio? Good, because in today's podcast, Richard and I discuss the 10 ways you can get rid of your donors. Now, obviously, we don't want you to do that, but you would not believe how many major gift fundraisers are not treating their donors properly and driving them away. Find out in today's podcast what these 10 are so you can avoid them and begin to build authentic relationships that will last a lifetime.
Welcome to the Nothing But Major Gifts podcast from Veritas Group, featuring Richard Perry and Jeff Schreifels. Twice a month, we bring you the latest and best thinking about major gift fundraising so you can develop authentic relationships with your major donors. Here are your hosts, Richard and Jeff.
Welcome to the podcast today. I have Richard Perry with me. And Richard, you wrote a blog post a while back that I just loved. And I thought, you know what? We've got to do a podcast on it because, hey, well, not everyone reads the blog, right?
Yeah.
So let's get this topic out to as many people as possible.
Well, I think this is going to be a really lively discussion, Jeff, because we're going to talk about the 10 ways that an MGO can get rid of their donor. Well, they can just get rid of them. And now, of course, this is meant to be provocative, so just stay with us.
Okay.
Because obviously, no MGO wants to get rid of their major donor purposely. But as you and I know, this kind of stuff that we're going to outline here is happening all the time. And this is why we see such high donor value attrition happening in major gift files.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about these 10 ways. Let's get into it. Okay. Number 1, have a relationship with her that's all about the money.
Yeah, exactly. So every time you're talking to her, I mean, just be sure that she understands that all you care about is her money.
Yeah.
And not her.
Right.
I mean, because that...
Now, I know that sounds funny, but this is actually happening. Now, no one's saying, I'm just going to talk about her money, but that's the way it comes across.
Well, I know. So the MGO is showing up, and what do they have in their heads? What they have in their heads is, how am I going to get the gift?
Exactly.
Now, in some respects, that's a reasonable thing to have in your head as an MGO. But really, it's the better thing to have in your head is to basically say, how am I going to fulfill this donor's passions and interests?
That's right.
What are the things that I can do in this meeting today to fulfill those passions and interests instead of how am I going to... Now, if you want to get rid of your donor, just
don't care about that.
Just don't care about that and make it all about the money. I mean, another one is, another way to get rid of your donor is to tell her that her gift, don't tell her that her gift made a difference. I mean,
this is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why donors leave, right? Because you don't tell them. That's the number one reason. Yeah. So if you really want to get rid of your donor, never tell them how they made a difference.
Yeah. It's, I mean, when you think about the logic of this is a donor has a passion about something that you're doing in your organization. And so why are they giving you the money? They're giving you the money because they want something to be done about that need, or something to be done about that situation, or something to be promoted or whatever. That's why they're giving you the money. Right. And so if you're just silent, which a lot of people are, she's going to get pretty discouraged. That donor's going to get discouraged, and they're going to, again, like you said, Jeff, the biggest reason donors go away or give less is because they didn't know their money made a difference.
That's right.
I mean, I've always personalized this whole point this way. Have you ever done something nice for somebody? In other words, you stepped out, you did something nice, and you didn't hear anything back from them. Mm-hmm. What does that feel like?
Doesn't feel good.
Feels really bad. I, for one, take it really personally. Mm-hmm. It's like, really? I did that? And didn't they care? Right. Did they notice? So just find that in your own spirit and in your own life. Find that event that's happened to you when you did something and they didn't notice, they didn't talk back, they didn't thank or whatever. And apply that to your donor and tell them that they made a difference.
And there's a whole infrastructure, though, about how to do that well.
Exactly.
See, it's not just about saying you made a difference.
Right.
But you figured out a whole infrastructure with program and finance and everything in your organization to have a culture that supports figuring that out.
Exactly. It's about program and finance. We could just talk forever on that point. And of course, we don't have the time there, but that's the big point. Do not tell your donor they made a difference and you'll get rid of them really quick.
The third reason is ignore what the donor's interested in.
Yeah. Now that sounds so strange, doesn't it? Because you would think that it's not even respectful to do that. But how many times have we seen a major gift officer just to say, or even an authority figure say, well, just tell them, that the donor what the general stuff we're doing and the great work we're doing. Or it doesn't matter what they're interested in. Well, it does matter what they're interested in.
Yeah, it's not just ignore. It's about really getting to know who they are as a person
and what they care about.
Then you'll keep them.
You ignore it, and you're going to ignore it at your peril. I mean, you need to work hard to find out what they are interested in,
exactly,
and serve that. The next one is to take your time. If you want to get rid of your donor, take your time thanking them for the gift. I mean,
like months.
Yeah,
just
or like in one organization, we heard that the check was actually by some finance person put it in the desk.
Yeah,
$46,000 check in the desk, and they forgot about it. Now, in defense of the person that put it in the desk, they didn't know quite how to handle something, and so they had forgotten about it.
But still,
come
on. But we've also heard of, especially in December when all these gifts come in and they're trying to process this and no one gets out receipts. No one's following up. No one knows they got a big gift. They don't have a system in place to know. Yeah. And so donors go weeks and weeks without hearing anything.
Exactly. The back offices of so many organizations are in disrepair or have a focus on how the internal authority figures believe the system or process should be. And so consequently what happens is the donor's left out of the equation. I mean, it's just like, and there's not proper thanking or stewardship, and it just doesn't happen. What happens?
Yeah.
Donors are negatively affected and they go away. So don't thank them.
Yep.
Take your time. Forget about it.
And you'll get rid of them.
They'll be gone in a flash.
Now, this one's an interesting one. Letting the donor be affected by internal politics.
Yeah.
Now, this happens like you see a major gift officer and maybe a plan giving officer fighting over a donor.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Or the direct marketing person is fighting with
you can't have this donor.
Officer. Yeah. They claim to the donor, and so does the other one. And so they both contact the donor, causing friction and confusion. And I mean, really, folks?
Yeah.
Come on. Just let that keep going on, and you'll affect the donor negatively.
Another one is keep poor records of your relationship with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That will send a donor away.
Yeah.
Especially if you as a major gift officer leave and you leave that over to another major gift officer.
Well, even if you don't leave, like Jeff, you and I both know that if you and I don't write stuff down, we're not going to remember. And so it's like, now, Mrs. Jones, what is it? And then she says, well, I told you that the last time you were here. You obviously don't listen to me, or you don't care,
or you don't know
me,
and
you don't, and essentially you don't know me. So you must keep good records, and if you don't, the donor will become convinced that you really don't care about them, and in fact, your lack of poor record keeping shows you don't care about them. Yeah, you could force her to force the donor to meet you in person. That's another way to get rid of them.
Well, right, especially if the donor doesn't want to meet with you in person.
Like I had that experience.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, tell that story. That's a good one.
So I gave a fairly large gift to an organization and became a major donor. And it so happened that I was in the offices of that organization, and the major gift officer who I was assigned to came up to me and said, by the way, Richard, I'm going to be in your city in a couple of weeks. I'd like to come by the office and talk to you. And I said, no, please do not come by the office and talk to me. I would refer that you just talk to me on email.
Yeah.
No, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in the city anyways, and so I'll have time. And it kept pushing and pushing. I says, no, please do not come by the office.
Got to meet that metric.
Okay. So that's the point.
Yeah.
So there was some manager behind that major gift officer that was saying, you must meet your donors in person. And it's a common problem. They'd force the MGO to meet face to face.
Yeah.
So what happened? 2 weeks later, the receptionist calls me at my office. So-and-so's here to see you. And it was the major gift officer.
Oh, and I was just dropped by.
I was really upset and eventually stopped giving to that organization.
That's a perfect example.
There's a perfect example of the manager forcing the MGO to meet a face-to-face metric. They come and meet, and they lose the donor. So that's another way to get rid of it. Force your major gift officer to meet with every donor in person.
Oh, here's one. Don't tell the donor about the changes in a project she's interested in.
Mm-hmm.
This happens, and this is when it goes really bad. So let's say the donor gives, a large sum to a project. Could be let's say $1 million gift to see this vision come through. Now, we all know things change sometimes.
They do,
right?
Yes.
So here they're going along. A year later, something happens where it's no longer the thing they thought it was going to be. It's going to be something else.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't tell the donor this. They just keep going, and the donor finds out later this thing that they funded completely went a different way.
I actually have a story about that. And this is some really large numbers. The donor that was giving, a very wealthy donor on the East Coast that was giving $4 million to a project in Africa, actually.
Yeah.
And the project started to go sideways, which they always do, Jeff. Yeah. They always do. We know this. And so we were telling the CEO and the managers, you've got to tell the donor that these specs are changing. And I even went to the point, I said, look, these donors are very experienced people. In business, everything changes.
Right.
You start off this way, and now you're headed that way, and now you got to make this thing. This is how life is. Oh no, we can't. And they didn't tell them, and they basically lost. They lost the $4 million a year.
Ugh.
$4 million a year from one donor.
Break it down. There's a fear of telling the truth because something bad will happen to them. But by not saying anything, it did actually, all the bad stuff they could possibly happen.
Well, and the other thing that was really sad about that particular situation is that not only they lost the money, but I was actually in the city where these donors live and went to their home where they had a group of their friends. And when you looked at the circle of influence these people had, Jeff, it was the who's who of philanthropy. Who knows, if you extend it out, how much potential funding they could have gotten had they stayed on track. It's one of the saddest experiences I've had in my career.
So
watching that happen. So, don't tell them that there's changes. And then you can get rid of them really quick.
Yeah.
So here's another one that happens quite often. There's an issue in the organization, and there's an issue that the donor has with you and the organization. Just ignore it. Just ignore it, and you can get rid of them.
Well, yeah, I know.
We all have conflict avoidance, right?
So these two, the last one and this one, kind of work together. Is that be authentic, be real, be honest, be transparent with donors.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want. It's like you would do this in a friendship or relationship. Be honest. Open.
I know. Well, you and I do that in our relationship.
Yeah.
Like I have an issue with you, and we talk about it. You have an issue with me.
Yep.
And sometimes these are issues that are pretty emotional, and we get angry.
Yep.
We talk to each other, and we solve it. Why? And so we have an absolutely transparent relationship.
Right.
You need to do that with your partner or your spouse, your business partner, anybody.
And your donor.
And your donor. And to the extent that you don't, and you let time go by on these issues, you are going to be in a boatload of trouble. And so it's another way to get rid of the donor is when they call you up or they email you and they say, I've got this problem, and you tippy-toe around and ignore it rather than say, well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You're going to get rid of that donor.
Here's the final way to get rid of the donor. Don't have a plan for the relationship. In other words, don't think about where you're going and how you're trying to build that relationship over time, or how you want to engage that donor in a greater way so that they can find joy in their giving at greater and greater levels.
Yeah, just do general stuff. Just follow your gut.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
I know, but this is the thing. That would get rid of a donor because really they know you're not really thinking about them.
You don't really care.
Donors want to be known. They want to know that they can trust you. And if you have a plan for where you're going with that donor and the relationship and building it, they'll know it. They'll feel it.
They will feel it, and it'll be a far more satisfying. And that's true about all relationships where you're intentional about your relationship. Is being intentional about it. I mean, so there's our 10 ways.
There's our 10 ways to get rid of a donor.
So, like, if you're sitting around and you're saying to yourself, you know what? I've just got to get rid of these donors on my caseload. Do these things.
Now, if you want to keep them,
do the opposite.
Do the opposite of all this.
Exactly.
Right? Well, thanks for joining us today. We have a free resource for you. We want you to go to veritasgroup.com, go on our download link, and there's a great white paper called Building on Bedrock, Indispensable Work and Major Gifts. We think will be very helpful for you, that will have all the things you need to be a strong major gift officer and have a strong major gift program, which was all about keeping your donors.
Yes, exactly.
So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the Nothing But Major Gifts podcast from Veritas Group. Richard and Jeff also write an ongoing blog that you can subscribe to for free at veritasgroup.com. Please join us again next time.